Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not the right manager to bring success back to Manchester United. I'm expecting Solskjaer to be sacked at some point, but not at this present time because there's no one available at the moment. Don't forget Mauricio Pochettino was the favourite to take over at Man United when Solskjaer was under serious pressure. Pochettino was also the favourite to take over after Jose Mourinho got sacked. But Pochettino's out of the equation because he's PSG's manager. There's a lot of Manchester United fans that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. He needs to win a trophy at Manchester United to avoid the sack, because he's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager, and he's been Man United manager over 2 years. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, and that's not good enough to our standards. A club of our stature need to be winning trophies. The FA Cup is a chance of a trophy, and the Europa League is a chance of a trophy. We've disregarded the title. We know we're not going to win that. I disregarded the title a while ago. We are second in the Premier League. We are 14 points behind Manchester City. Top 4 is our aim in the league, and top 4 is not guaranteed yet, but I still think we will get it. If we finished out of the top 4 this season, I'd turn around and say Solskjaer deserves to be sacked. A lot of United fans, including me, said that we give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the job too soon. Maybe we should have waited until the end of that season to decide or not whether to give him the job. The main explanation we give Solskjaer the job permanently 2 years ago was reflecting on what he did when he was the interim manager. He won 14 games out of 19 in all competitions. Now, Woodward recently made a statement and the board back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Woodward says the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. Our net debt has risen up to 455.5 million. We have been in a bad vein of form. We've dropped 13 points in our last 8 league games. But like I've said, our board have got a soft stance on Solskjaer, with him being a club legend. But I think a new contract is incoming for Solskjaer. He probably will sign the new contract at the end of the season. The last time I read up regarding a new contract for Ole, it said that Solskjaer's future is in doubt because he admitted that nobody has spoke to him over a new contract. But he said we'll wait until the end of the season to begin contract talks with Solskjaer. He says we could offer him a new 2-year deal. Solskjaer is into the final 18 months of his current contract. I do have my concerns about Solskjaer. One of my big concerns about him is his decision making, because he's been tactically naive in a lot of the games he's managed at Manchester United, especially in the big games. We really struggled against the top 6 sides in the Premier League this season. In the vast majority of the games, we failed to score. It's a surprise, really, because Solskjaer's beat a few big managers as Man United manager. He's beaten Pep Guardiola 3 times. That was last season. I think he's beaten 4 times in total. beaten Thomas Tuchel twice when he was PSG manager. Solskjaer's also beaten Jose Mourinho. He's beaten Julian Nagelsmann. So there you go. There's actually been some games where Solskjaer has showed tactical flexibility, but he's got to show tactical flexibility persistently. And another one of my big concerns about Ole is that he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. Before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. And his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. He actually got Cardiff relegated. Don't forget though, Ole managed the Man United reserve team for a couple of years, so he watched some of this team grow and develop. But like I said on my other videos, reflecting now on Solskjaer's been at the club, he has gained some managerial experience and he has learned quite a bit on the job. But I think the club is too big for him to manage, despite him knowing the culture of the club. I think Solskjaer does deserve at least until May. We'll make a decision on Solskjaer in May probably, whether he's getting at least another season. Not, he probably will get at least another season. We've got to credit Solskjaer in some aspects though, because we've enjoyed good periods under him where we've actually seen consistency. There's been some games this season where he's got the best out of the team and he's improved certain players. We've got a fantastic away record in the Premier League. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We're 21 unbeaten away from home in the Premier League. Yeah, we've won more games at home recently, but if you've noticed, all our defeats have come at Old Trafford this season. So we've been far better away from home than we have been at home. We're second in the Premier League. No one expected us to be there with how poor we was at the first part of this season. Solskjaer's got us to the FA Cup quarter-finals. Yeah, it's going to be a tough game against Leicester. He's got us to the Europa League last 16. It's going to be a tough game against AC Milan. Got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season. Lost 2-0 to Man City. I think Ole has made good signings as Man United manager. He's spent over £200 million. He's enjoyed 4 transfer windows so far as permanent Man United manager. In the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January of last year, he brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odin Igalo in on loan. And in the summer transfer window of last year, he brought Donny van der Beek in, Alex Telles, Edison Cavani, Facundo Palestre and Amad Diallo Traore. Obviously, Solskjaer hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in as yet. In that aspect, the blame stems from the board. And Solskjaer has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in. We saw a few players leaving the January transfer window. We saw Jesse Lingard go out on loan to West Ham. We saw Teden Mengi go out on loan. We saw Facundo Palestre go out on loan. Odin Igalo said his farewells to the club. Marcus Rojo left the club and Timothy Fosu-Mensah left the club. And, there's other players that have left as well under Ole. Got rid of the likes of Ashley Young, got rid of Valencia, got rid of Chris Smalling, got rid of Darmian, got rid of Fellaini, got rid of Herrera, got rid of Lukaku, got rid of Alexis Sanchez, got rid of Angel Gomez. We've also loaned quite a few players out. Don't forget we loaned Diego Dalot out. We loaned Andres Pereira out. We loaned James Garner out, loaned Dylan Levitt out, loaned Joe Pereira out again for another season. Also loaned Tahith Chong out. So there you go. We haven't been the same team since Sir Alex Ferguson retired. And a lot of United fans said, as soon as Ferguson retired, we was going to struggle. No one's going to replicate what Ferguson did at the club. Ferguson endured a 27-year tenure at Manchester United. He won 30-odd trophies, was it? Including 13 Premier League titles. So Ferguson brought success to the club, but Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Manchester United. But since Ferguson retired, we haven't been that consistent. 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson retired. We sacked David Moyes after 10 months. He's the worst ever manager we've had. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite him winning the FA Cup. And we sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years, despite him winning 3 trophies in his first season. And he got a second in his first season. The reasons it didn't work out under Mourinho is because he had bad disputes with the board, bad disputes with the top players. The board weren't backing the signings that he wanted to recommend in. And I think mistakes have been made in the last, 7.5, 8 years, and that's one of the main explanations why we haven't been that consistent. I think a lot of the players we've brought in the last 7.5, 8 years haven't been the right calibre players for Man United. And we've brought around 37 players in and we've spent over £1 billion on them. I think maybe there's some players who we got who we let go, who we shouldn't have let go. Maybe we should have kept Ander Herrera and Romelu Lukaku. Like I said, we did give Solskjaer the job too soon. We've overpaid for players in recent years. Ferguson made one mistake, and that was recommending David Moyes in. So yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is inheriting players from other managerial eras. Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the culture of the club. He knew he had to come in and bring consistency back. He knew he had to come in and get the right players in. And like I said, he has made some good signings. So yeah, we appointed Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Jose Mourinho. This year's summer transfer window is the biggest in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career. Now, not so long ago, Solskjaer sent a transfer warning to our fans saying we won't be very active in the summer transfer window due to the coronavirus pandemic. Solskjaer said he's only interested in bringing in players that would be a perfect fit for the club. But the board must back him in the summer, because the board haven't backed him enough so far. And Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ollie, and he did say towards the end of last year he will back Solskjaer with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. And even when we was enjoying them very bad periods, Woodward assured that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job was safe. Woodward's been at the club since 2012 and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. A new centre-back and a new forward are the 2 priorities. Now, there has been quite a few players on our agenda. Now, obviously, yesterday I give you the news on Erling Haaland. I've been keeping you up to date with the news on Erling Haaland a lot. Apparently, Erling Haaland is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's #1 transfer priority. there's a lot of clubs that are in for him. Not only us, Chelsea are confident that they can get Erling Haaland. Apparently Chelsea are willing to offer him a financial package. But I heard Haaland's not interested in going to Stamford Bridge. City are interested, Liverpool are also interested, Bayern Munich are interested. I'd love Man United to sign Erling Haaland because it would be very, very good to see Solskjaer reunite with the player. Solskjaer knows the player well. Solskjaer was the one that gave Erling Haaland his debut at just the age of 16 at Mulder. Don't forget, back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Erling Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. Solskjaer said earlier on this season that he's following Erling Haaland's progress, and he said prior to the game against Real Sociedad that he's keeping in touch with Erling Haaland. Dortmund will demand in the excess of £100 million if they had to sell Haaland this summer. He is available for £68 million next year. That's when his release clause becomes active. Since his arrival at Dortmund, though, he has been a revelation. He scored 40-odd goals in 40-odd appearances. Dortmund paid just £17 million for him, and he's got a contract with Dortmund until 2024. Erling Haaland's still young. He's got a lot of development in him. Now, yesterday, I give you the news on Rafinha. The Brazilian outlet UOL said that Man United have made an approach to sign Rafinha from Leeds United. Liverpool have also expressed their interest. Now, Rafinha's agent, who's Deco, he's set to have a meeting with Leeds' sporting director to discuss a possible move for Rafinha at the end of the season. Now, this is Rafinha's debut season with Leeds, and he's actually done well. And he says he's happy at Leeds. He's scored 5 goals and provided 5 assists. He's got a contract with Leeds until 2024. Leeds paid £17 million for him from Rennes last October. Rafinha is only 24 years of age, so he's only young, and he's predominantly a right winger. So I think we're seeing Rafinha as an alternative to Jadon Sancho. Yeah, we have done business with Leeds before, haven't we? Obviously got Eric Cantona off them years ago, got Rio Ferdinand off them years ago. Don't forget also Alan Smith at one point come to Man United. Rafael Varane, he's on our agenda. Recent narratives have said that Real Madrid are prepared to sell Rafael Varane to Man United in the summer. Back in 2018, Woodward was prepared to sanction a £100 million move for Rafael Varane. Now, apparently, he's valued at £61 million. OK Dairo said that Real Madrid reduced their asking price for Rafael Varane to £43 million. A few clubs have been interested. I'd certainly take Rafael Varane at Man United. He's a world-class centre-half, and he's highly experienced. He's 27 years of age, and he would go well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. Varane's been a long-serving player at Real Madrid. He's been with them 10 years. He's made over 300 appearances and he's won 18 major honours. He's got a contract with Madrid till 2022. Real Madrid paid €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011. And the AS said the other week that talks over extending Rafael Varane's deal have not settled. And you do know the news on Jules Koundé. So I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window. Yeah, the summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. Obviously, we're going to sell players in the summer transfer window, so that will help us generate money and it will help us with our rebuilding process. I think there's players at Man United that are not good enough to represent the club anyway, so we need to offload them. Solskjaer said a few weeks ago that he's prepared to sell either De Gea or Dean Henderson in the summer. Obviously, Solskjaer's been facing a goalkeeping dilemma. Now, recent narratives have said we could allow De Gea to depart the club in the summer, so Dean Henderson can become our first choice goalkeeper. Now, De Gea is valued at £50 million. Solskjaer's already warned De Gea that his number 1 jersey is under threat. De Gea is obviously not available at the moment because he's out due to personal reasons. So reflecting on that, Dean Henderson will get a run of games. Said a few weeks ago we was looking at Donnarumma from AC Milan as a possible replacement for De Gea. De Gea's been a long servant at Manchester United. You know, this is his 10th season at the football club. He's been with us since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. And he's made over 500 appearances for the club in all competitions, De Gea. You know, a few years ago, he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world. And he's obviously won everything domestically at the club. But in the last couple of years, he's made calamitous mistakes, and reflecting on that, he has become a liability. I think there's a good chance he'll go back to Spain, De Gea. Back in 2015, he was close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine, his move to Real Madrid never materialised. But Dean Henderson said he wants David De Gea's spot. I think we should put Dean Henderson as number 1. Because I think he's reliable enough now to become our number 1. He's got that experience behind him. And he's done well in the games he's played in this season. Now, the other week, Dean Henderson threatened to quit Man United if he's not assured the number 1 role. We revealed our asking price. It was £40 million. Solskjaer admitted earlier on this season that it's becoming more and more difficult to leave Dean Henderson out of the side. Phil Jones, I'm expecting him to leave this year, and I want him to leave this year. I'm surprised he didn't leave in January, but Solskjaer said he's going to be given a second chance. Jones has been out with injury for over a year. You know, Jones is the only outfield player that's still with us from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Sergio Romero, I'm also expecting him to leave the club. Matic, I think there's a chance we could sell him in the summer because Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but he still gets his chances and he can have good games. Matic, he can. But I've always had my strong reservations about him because he's always been a slow player and plus he's ageing up now. Matic has been at the club almost 4 years. We got Matic in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Was it just before the start of this season he signed a new 3-year deal with Man United? Juan Mata. He's another player I'm expecting to leave in the summer. Juan Mata doesn't get in our team now. Juan Mata's current contract expires in the summer, but there is an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Solskjaer did say prior to the Real Sociedad game he's not surprised that Juan Mata is linked to a move away from the club. There's actually 3 Italian clubs that have been interested in him. Earlier on this season he rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Juan Mata's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club over 6 years. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. And my element of concern about him now, he's lost that yard of pace and he's 34 years of age. A lot of United fans are saying that we need to offload Anthony Martial in the summer because he's not good enough to represent Man United. He's been out of form for the vast majority of this season. He's had chances, but he just hasn't converted them. If we sell Martial in the summer, I think we get around £30 million. Solskjaer did actually say he's impressed with Anthony Martial's work rate and he's backed Martial to rediscover his form. I think it was last season Solskjaer gave him that number 9 shirt. But last season Martial was good and he was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. Martial has been at the club now on over 5 years. So who is going to be our long-term number 9? Because it's not going to be Martial and it's certainly not going to be Edinson Cavani. A lot of United fans have also said that we need to offload Victor Lindelof. But like I've gone through with you, there is a lot of players that have improved at Man United, and there's good players in general. Dean Henderson, he's done very, very well this season. Luke Shaw, I've been very, very impressed with him. He's been player of the season by far. Just like the way Luke Shaw's got forward, he's got into good positions, his crossing's been good. He's created chances for his teammates, and defensively Luke Shaw's been very good as well. So I credit him in that aspect. Luke Shaw has had a good career at Man United apart from his injuries. He's been at the club over 6 years. And he still remains our first choice left back despite the arrival of Alex Telles last summer. Eric Bailly, I think he's done very, very well in the games he's played in this season. Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire seem to complement each other very well in our back line. The element of concern though about Bailly, he's too injury prone, so in that aspect he is a liability. But Bailly can intercept the ball well, he shows the ability to part from the back and he can be effective in the air. Apparently we're in talks over getting Eric Bailly a new deal. And Wan-Bissaka, I think he's enjoyed good games this season. Some games he showed more attacking intent, he's got into good crossing positions. Defensively, he's been superb. This is Wan-Bissaka's second full season at Man United. Fred, I think he's also really, really improved. When Fred plays well, he can pass the ball well, he can be very mobile. Sometimes he can dictate the play. His passing can be good. Fred's been in the club now a few years. Before Paul Pogba got injured, we was getting the best out of him. Paul Pogba is a big miss for us because we lack creativity in that midfield without him. We're too defensive without Paul Pogba. Pogba's got a thigh injury at the moment. The last game he played for us was the 3-3 draw against Everton. Solskjaer recently set a new Paul Pogba return date. Solskjaer's hopefully will be back before the March international break. Apparently Paul Pogba's open to staying at Man United after making a transfer U-turn and he's willing to discuss a new contract. So, yeah. If we get Paul Pogba a new contract, that will end the long-running transfer saga, won't it? McTominay, he's a decent player as well. He's had good games this season. Donny van der Beek's a good player when he plays, but he seldom plays. He's played nowhere near as much as I expected. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. Bruno Fernandes, he's our best player. despite him being out of form recently, because he has made a difference in the team. But I think at some point Bruno Fernandes needs a rest. By the way, Solskjaer did say he's ready to ban Bruno Fernandes from international duty. Greenwood's done very, very well since he broke into the first team squad. Rashford's done well as well. He's a good player, is Rashford, but he has enjoyed his bad periods, so do you think at some point we need to rest him? And Cavani, he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. So we have got some good players and players have improved. And I said, didn't I, our current squad is good enough to finish at least in the top 4. Big massive game today against Man City at the Etihad Stadium. It's the 185th Manchester derby. I've already given you my preview for the game and I've given you my starting 11 prediction and all of that, and I give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. Solskjaer said that City are ahead by a fair distance. It's a must-win game for us today, but a lot of United fans, including me, are not expecting us to get anything from the game because in our last 3 games, we've drawn 0-0. And City have won 21 straight games in all competitions. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.